What is going on, yo? Welcome to the first installment of Addy's Action for the 2019-2020 NFL season. For those of y'all who are new here, welcome. And for those of y'all who may be returning and may have watched Addy's Action last season, a special welcome to y'all for finding your way back here. But for those of y'all who are new here, Addy's Action is essentially a video series I ran, started last year on the LockTheFS YouTube channel, where I go over a few of my favorite GPP plays at each position. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Uh, and yeah, it's a little bit more GPP oriented, as I said earlier, because if you guys haven't already checked out Christian's video that he uploaded earlier this morning, which is Friday, he posted a video that had a bit more cash game. It was a bit more cash game centric, where he went over a few of the chalkier options, which is super important to be able to do, to be able to identify that chalk or who will be highly owned plays, especially for the first week of NFL. So if you haven't already checked that out, super good video. Definitely go check it out. It's right here on the LockTheFS YouTube channel. And yeah, but before I get into this stuff and the plays that I want to talk about, and I got some awesome plays for you guys to start off the season. Few little like procedural things I want to run through. First off, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so right here at ReallyAddy. That's all I'm really going to say about that, because that's all there really is to say about that. Secondly, as you guys know, we do run a giveaway on all our YouTube videos. Then when we do it from basketball, baseball, hockey, and football, where essentially every week we go through the videos posted that week, we look through the comments, and we pick a random person for a free season pass of their choice. So if you guys do want to enter that, it's pretty simple. All you got to do is leave a like and leave a comment, and then we'll go through and pick one of the people that are that left a comment. So that's fairly easy. And if you're wondering what is a season pass or a season pass to what, this is LockTheFS. As you guys know, Christian and I, we both run LockTheFS. This is our website. So if you want to go check it out, it's LockTheFS.com. You can scroll down right here and pick a sport or pick a pass of your choice. We have month passes for any sport, all sports passes that cover sort of everything, and season passes for $199. By the way, if you guys want to use code week1, it's WEEKONE, so like the letters, not the number one. So week one, use that code. It'll give you $50 off a season pass. Which is a super good deal. I mean, 25% off of this, and you get locked in for the whole season with us. It comes with access to all this stuff that you see here, lock sheets, articles, pre-lock live streams. Doesn't mention a member chat in Slack that we have. So yeah, super good value. If you guys are interested, please do check that out. So with that being said, let's get into these plays. So as I said earlier, it's important to be able to identify chalk. So I'll start this by breaking down a few of the quarterbacks, or a few of the, each position that's projecting as fairly chalky. So Jameis Winston's one guy that's coming in fairly highly owned, pretty expensive, but an awesome spot for him. So definitely understand that. Another guy, Lamar Jackson, who I love. Rushing quarterbacks in fantasy sports are just so valued. I mean, you can't understate their importance and the floor that they give you with their legs. So love Lamar Jackson. But for week one, the GPP quarterback I like is Jimmy Garoppolo. So we did mention Jameis Winston and why he's such a good play. It's a great game environment for him. Should be a very up-tempo, back-and-forth game. And that similarly benefits Jimmy Garoppolo. If we head over to the Vegas odds on this game, we see that it opened at a 49 over-under. Or I should say the total opened at 49 and has since been bet up to 51 with 67% of bets on the over. So not crazy line movement there, but it is important to note that any total going up is good for a game stack or the quarterback on the road. As you guys know, taking a trailing quarterback is also a fairly good strategy. A quarterback that's projected to be trailing for a lot of the game. Just because when you're trailing, you tend to throw the ball more. Very simple stuff here. But yeah, so it is good to see that it should be a closely competitive game, but San Francisco is on the trailing side of this as of now. Typically, I'm a little bit hesitant about taking West Coast teams that are playing on the East Coast. But this is a 4:25 start, which definitely makes this better because typically it's a 1 p.m. start over there. And there's just a whole body clock issue. And you often see teams come out a bit rusty. But in this case, with the 4:25 start, I do like it a lot. Now let's talk about this Tampa Bay defense. I have it pulled up here all the defensive pieces that they're missing. So they released Gerald Coy, and they're going to be Jason Pierre-Paul. He's out, as well as Vinny Curry, Noah Spence, Quan Alexander, who's actually on the 49ers. Levante David and Vita Vea should all miss this game. Vita Vea may play. He's got like a sprained LCL or something, so he might suit up, but that's just one of 6 key defensive pieces that they had last year that they will not have this year. Their cornerback combo is probably one of the worst in the league. Carlton Davis, Vernon Hargreaves, both these guys just horrible numbers. Probably the worst cornerback duo in the NFC. So definitely all things setting up right for Jimmy Garoppolo and his weapons. And there are a few of his weapons that I'll get into in this video that I'm really high on as well, which definitely boosts his overall projection. So I think for this price, $5,600, people are going to be a little bit dissuaded because a lot of the reports coming out of San Francisco training camp and preseason has been all about how bad Jimmy Garoppolo's looked. But I'll choose to go with a much bigger sample size, which we have on him, which is years of him being a pretty good quarterback and playing in a very friendly system with Kyle Shanahan. So he will be the quarterback that I am interested in for GPPs. So moving on to running back. A few of the chalky plays here at running back make, worlds of sense. Like I'll have them in my lineup. Guys like Dalvin Cook at 6K is just criminally underpriced in this matchup at home. So guys like him make a lot of sense. Even a guy like Chris Carson, he'll probably be maybe even higher on the Dalvin Cook, 5,700. Again, massive home favorite running back who's getting more involved in the pass game, which on DraftKings we like a lot with it being a PPR site. So one of those guys, speaking of which, one of those guys who's going a little bit under-owned and is in this price range. So I think a lot of guys will, or a lot of players might overlook him, might play Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, and overlook this guy, is Leonard Fournette. So first off, let's go over the Vegas odds again, and so we can pull up this game. So we see the Jaguars are at home to the Chiefs. But there is a little bit of reverse line movement on the Jaguars. As you can see, 72% of bets have come in on the Chiefs -5, yet the line has moved up 1.5 in the Jaguars' favor, which means that this 28% contains more money than this 72%. So you want to bet where the sharp money is. And the sharp money is coming in on the Jaguars here. So I think the Jaguars keep this game fairly competitive, which would have really mattered to Leonard Fournette last year. The good thing about Leonard Fournette this year is he essentially doesn't have a backup. No TJ Yeldon on this team anymore. So he's really the pass game guy. A lot of the coach speak coming out of Jacksonville is just talking about how much more Leonard Fournette is going to be involved in the passing game, which is what we love. I mentioned DraftKings PPR site. So you really want your running back to be able to catch passes. And if your running back's going to be on the field for all 3 downs, which is what guys like Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, and Leonard Fournette will do, just all the more reason to load up on him. So I think this will be a competitive game, and it's an awesome matchup as well. I got the numbers up right here. The Chiefs last year had the worst run defense in, the bottom run defense in football, as well as allowing the 5th most receiving yards to running backs as well. So that's all positive for Leonard Fournette. The offensive line is healthy. They got a kid in the 2nd round, Juwan Taylor, who's projected to be awesome. So it's a healthy offensive line. Their new offensive coordinator loves to pass the ball, which sure hurts maybe a few of his carries, but gives him so much opportunity in the pass game, which is really where upside is reached in DFS. So especially for running backs. So definitely going to be interested in Leonard Fournette as a GPP running back. But I think both these plays that I've mentioned so far, Fournette and Garoppolo, they work in cash games. There's a good chance I have these guys in cash. So while they will come in at low ownership, don't let that dissuade you from playing them in cash. So at wide receiver, I got a couple guys, a little bit of a game stack, and that's going to be Brandon Cooks at 6,500 and Curtis Samuel at what is he at? 4,300 or something? Yeah, 4,200. So I guess first off, we will go over Vegas just because it's such an important part of all these games. But as you guys expect, a game between the Panthers and the Rams. I love the Panthers offense this year. I don't know about y'all, but Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, and Cam is going to be worlds of fun. And they're in a pace-up spot versus the Rams, who did play at one of the fastest paces in the league last year. And as you can see, we got a little bit of reverse line movement on them as well. As you can see, 31% of bets on the Panthers at plus 2.5, yet they moved to plus 1, which is a 1.5, which is a fairly sizable shift in NFL. And so as you guys know, this 31% of the bet, this 31% has more money on it than this 69%, which is definitely good if you're going to be exposed to the Panthers. So, high scoring game, as you can see, 50 over under, definitely something we're interested in. And what I like most about Brandon Cooks here is that Ron Rivera in 2018, his Panthers ran the zone at, I believe, the 5th or 6th, maybe 7th highest rate in the league, while Brandon Cooks was one of the best wide receivers in the league versus the zone. Just his catch rate went up, his yards per target were, I think, like 3rd best. So just an awesome spot for him to, find the pockets, open pockets of space in his zone defense and just take advantage of that. Definitely going to be interested in him. And I think you can run it back with a guy I'm almost, I'd say maybe more excited about just because he's priced so cheap at 4,200. I don't expect this guy to generate too much ownership, but he might because he was probably the most hyped player in preseason, and that's Curtis Samuel. Just bunch of praise about his route running and his explosiveness and his just everything about him. So I'm definitely interested in him, and he gets a really awesome matchup. The Rams last year allowed the most 40-yard completions in the league, or in the NFC, I believe. I think it was like 14 or 15 completions of over 40 yards, which is exactly how Curtis Samuel is going to be used. The cool thing about him is he's also going to be used, in intermediate short routes as well. But he's going to make his bread and butter is going to be on the deep ball, and so he's got a good opportunity to catch one in a game like this. And so he'll definitely be a guy that I'm interested in. That's such a cheap price point. I think he makes a ton of sense because he's going to have some massive weeks this season, and this certainly could be one of those. So moving on to tight end, I'm actually going to go with a little bit of a stack. As you guys know, stacking in NFL is just a profitable strategy overall. Stacking a quarterback with a wide receiver, you'll see people get freaky with like a double stack quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, or quarterback, running back with the way, like some of these offenses are ran, like Lamar Jackson or Mark Ingram. A lot of this makes sense. You're banking on an offensive explosion. And so a little stack that I like here is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo, like I mentioned earlier, with his tight end, George Kittle. The reason I like George Kittle so much is that there's just not been that much talk about him. As far as high-priced tight ends go, typically paying up at tight end isn't my favorite strategy. I like to find some value here, and I'll probably do that this week too with a guy like Hunter Henry, who's projected to be fairly chalky, O.J. Howard, Evan Ingram. All these guys generating pretty decent ownership, so we'll definitely be interested in those guys, but paying up at tight end just naturally gives you a lower-owned tight end. Travis Kelce is the guy that's sort of getting all the attention in this range, so I think it'll leave George Kittle a bit under-owned. And while Travis Kelce, he's got to go through guys like Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins and Pat Mahomes. They're all going to get there. Damian Williams, LaShawn McCoy. There's really no one on this San Francisco team that's going to take targets away from George Kittle. Dante Pettis, I like his spot today. As I mentioned, Sunday, as I mentioned, these Tampa Bay cornerbacks are real bad. But George Kittle just really doesn't compete with anyone for targets here. So while that could give him a bit more attention, he's going up against two rookies. Inside linebacker, free safety, forget their names, but just two rookies. So, it's a spot for him just to run through them. And we know the upside George Kittle has. And so if San Francisco is going to be trailing on the road, down 14, like all game, it's just going to be like George Kittle's going to get 10, 12 targets and could put up, a wide receiver 1 type score. So definitely a stack that I'm going to be looking towards, not only in GPP, but I think it's viable in cash games as well. So yeah, with that all being said, guys, thank you so much for checking out this first installment of Addy's Action. I hope you do enjoy it. I'll be posting these videos every Friday, and Christian will get his videos up typically every Thursday, potentially every Friday. We're still kind of feeling that out. But yeah, so as you guys know, same giveaway. Leave a like, leave a comment, and in this week's comment, just tell me what more you want to see from these videos. It is the first video I made, and this is one of a few pieces of free content we provide at Lock. So I'm really curious to see what you guys want to see, and I'm more than willing to deliver on that. So whatever you guys want to see, please do let me know in the comments below. If you want me to talk about a few positions for longer, or mention a few more players, or mention a defense, let me know. Give me your suggestions. We're always trying to improve here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this NFL season. I hope you guys run good starting in week 1. Fingers crossed, no injuries, because that's what running good is in NFL, just avoiding those injuries. So rooting for y'all. I hope you guys run into some big takedown or something and have a good season. So I'll see y'all next week on Addy's Action. Peace.